doing a draw and tell story, and be sure to grab your whiteboard and your dry erase marker. And so today we'll be doing a draw and tell story called At the End of the Rainbow. Okay. Nicholas lived on the flat, dry, hot, and dusty prairie. So here, this is hot, dry, dusty prairie. In a little house with 2 round windows. Here's his little house with 2 round windows. One day he looked out the window and saw a beautiful rainbow stretched across the sky behind the hills. He had heard that there was treasure to be found at the end of the rainbow, so he set out across the plain to see if he could find it. He walked until he came to the hill country. Hot and tired and thirsty, he twirled upward. Here's this little hill. Eventually, he came to a small hut where a gnome lived. So here's the hut of the gnome. How much further to the end of the rainbow? Nicholas asked the gnome. I'm looking for the treasure. Ah, said the gnome. Tell me, friend, what one thing would make you happier than anything else in the world? Perhaps I'll be able to help, and perhaps I'll not. Nicholas wiped his forehead and thought for a moment. Then he knew what would make him very happy. And indeed, he told the gnome. Ah, that's not too much to wish for, said the gnome. Go as you've been going. Then pass the marshy places, and you will come to the hut where Bunyard lives. Goodbye. And so Nicholas set off up the hill and past the marshy places until, so here he goes up the hill, and here are the marshy places. He came to a second hut where he met the wizard Bunyard. So here's the second hut where Bunyard lives. So tell me, friend, the wizard said, what one thing in the world would make you happiest of all? Perhaps I'll be able to help, and perhaps I'll not. Nicholas told him. Bunyard laughed. That is not so much to wish for, he said. Come. And he led Nicholas to the rainbow and gave him a pair of magic boots. Up you go, he said. If you make it over, you'll find what you'll find. So here he goes, up the rainbow. Nicholas put on the boots and started to climb, and he climbed and climbed all day under the hot sun until he reached the top of the rainbow. He looked down, and there, at the end of the rainbow, was the biggest mud puddle he had ever seen. So here is the big mud puddle. It's humongous. With a squeal of delight, he slid down the rainbow and sunk into the cool, delicious mud. So here he goes, going all the way down the rainbow. Right up to his tail, a smile spread across his face, and at that moment he was the happiest pig in all the world.